Hello, Patrick here with Urban Carry Holsters, and today we're going to be showing you how to properly field strip and clean the FN 5.7. The 5.7 was developed in 1998 as NATO made a request to potentially replace the very popular 9mm round for their service pistols. The 5.7 is basically a scaled down rifle round. That 5.7x28 is a 22 on steroids, and you're shooting a carbine round from a pistol platform. It reduces over-penetration that's seen from other pistol rounds, but also has the potential to pierce soft body armor such as Kevlar. For now, we're going to turn this over to Chase, and he's going to show us how to properly field strip and clean it.
I'm going to show you how to field strip and clean the FN 5.7. Now, of course, what we want to do is make sure that this firearm is safe to operate with. So we want to take out the magazine and check the chamber and make sure there's no rounds. So again, your magazine release is just behind the trigger guard, and pop that out. Make sure there's no rounds in there. Then rack your slide back, engage your slide catch, and that way I can show you there are no rounds inside the chamber. So this gun is actually quite interesting, the way it's designed, and the takedowns process is actually quite simple. This is your little takedown, well, I guess I'd call it a bar or takedown button. But just like with, say, like a Glock, or there's other firearms that you need to do this with, but you just want to bring your slide back just slightly. And how I usually do that is I put my thumb right on the back of the handle, and I just take my fingers and just grip it. It's just like squeezing your fingers together, and that'll bring the slide up to a good point. Now, when you do that, you're going to take that little button and you're going to slide it all the way back to the back end of the barrel, and then push your slide forward. That'll allow you to take your slide off your frame. Now, what we want to do is take apart the slide, and it's very easy. There is no guide rod. There is a recoil spring, but it's on the barrel and it's compounded on there. So literally, all you have to do is take your barrel out, and that's simply by taking this lug, pulling back on it a little bit, and then lifting the barrel out. It's very simple. Now, what we want to do is get some gun cleaner and start cleaning this barrel up. Now here, I use Hoppy's Elite Gun Cleaner. It helps remove and break up any kind of powder fouling, which is basically unspent powder or powder residue. And then also it takes out lead, copper, all that kind of stuff. It just starts eating away at it to take it off the metal of your barrel. Well, and your gun in general. But what we're going to do is I've already took some of my cleaning patches and I've cut them in half. Again, you got to remember this is a smaller caliber pistol, quite close to or like a .223 round in the sense of diameter of the bullet. So I've cut those in half, and it would be nice to just have a lead that was small enough, but I don't have one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little punch, okay, on the end of my cleaning rod, and that'll just help bring this cleaning swab with the gun cleaner on it throughout the whole barrel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this swab with that gun cleaner, and I'm going to go in through the bore side of the barrel, or the back end, okay? You don't really want to go in through the muzzle side, because this is where your crown is. The crown is where the rifling in your barrel ends. And of course, if you mess that up in any sort of manner, if you nick it, anything like that, it's just going to affect your accuracy. And of course, this gun, you know, is, I mean, some people carry it for concealed carry, and then others, you know, just for fun. But of course, either way, with that kind of rifle round that's using it, you want to be quite accurate with it. So I'm going to go ahead and put my swab on here and coat my barrel, okay? That way, some of that gun cleaner can sit in there and start eating away at any of that powder fouling. I'm also going to wipe down basically my feed ramp. It's just literally a dip or a cone, and just make sure that you get some of this cleaner on there. Another good place to get some cleaner would be the recoil spring that's on the barrel. So I'm just going to go ahead and wipe this down and get a little coat on there. But that's all you have to do for your barrel, and we're just going to want to let that sit. When you're using gun cleaner, you'd want to leave it in for a good 5-10 minutes. Of course, for the sake of this video, I just want to show you how and what to use. But you don't necessarily have to, you know, wait 5-10 minutes, but it's just a suggestion. But now we want to get, you know, some coating of that gun cleaner inside our frame, because there is metal inside here that's covered in that polymer. So I'm going to use a nylon brush. I just sprayed some of my cleaner just up towards the front of it. And you can even use a toothbrush. It works just the same. But where those slide rails are, I'm just going to take this gun cleaner, put it in these grooves. Okay, I want to stay away from the striker fire system. Okay, don't really want to get any cleaner in there. And then also I want to scrub my bolt face. Now it's important to scrub this because you have your extractor here too, and of course your firing pinhole, and that can get gunked up with all kinds of different powder and dirt. So it's important to scrub this down too. But what I always do is I turn it upside down. Okay, that way I don't get any of the gun cleaner dripping into the striker fire system. But I just want to give this a quick little scrub and get some of this gun cleaner on there so it can start eating away at all that copper and brass and powder. But now that that's sitting on there, I'm just going to go over kind of the frame of the gun. Of course there are some metal parts in here. It is mainly all polymer though. But again, those gases, when you do fire a firearm, go everywhere throughout the gun. So it is important just to give it a good run through. If you see any kind of discoloration on the metal, if it starts to look, you know, a little blackened, then you just want to give it a quick little scrub. And that's all you really have to do with that. Now, something that I always suggest is something that people forget to clean, and that's your magazine. The magazines, of course, they don't need to be cleaned every single time, but remember, there is ways for dirt and powder to get inside of here. So it's always good just to wipe them down. And again, you have a metal spring in there. You want to address that metal. Now, with these magazines, it might look, there's no real detent pin or anything. You literally have to kind of knock your base plate off. You can just use a screwdriver, but just tap on the end of it until it starts to come off, okay, as you can see. And then, of course, take it off all the way. Make sure you put your thumb over, because that spring will fly out. But I just wanted to show you how to take this off. We're not going to go through the process of cleaning it. Again, very simple. Just take a brush, clean inside of it, take some cotton swabs on a lead, on a cleaning rod, and then wipe it down, and then wipe down your spring and do all that. Again, this is mainly polymer, so you don't really have to worry about it too much, but there is that metal spring inside. And of course, when you're ready to put it back on, it does take some force, but you just got to hit it on, and then your spring's ready, well, your magazine's ready to go. Now that that cleaner's been sitting in there for a little bit, what we're going to do is I'm going to address my barrel again, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub it out. So I have a little 22 caliber brush right here, and of course I'm going to go in through the bore side. Alright, and I'm just going to give this a good little run through. Now, something else to notice about this is that because of that rifle-shaped round, you do have quite the bore access right here. So it is important to brush this out. Again, I need just like more of a 32 caliber brush, but don't forget the brush right in here. Again, I'm just going in a little circle, just getting it right before the rifling. That way I can get any kind of deposits that have been set in there. But since that's all done, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wipe it all down. Now, of course, like I said, it'd be best if we had, a little 22 caliber lead, but I don't have one right now, but I do have one of these little punches. So I'm going to take clean cleaning cloth, set it over, and just give it a run through. As you can see, that's all stuff that was stuck in the barrel. Okay, this is why you do want to clean your firearm. And as well, what I'm going to also do It's just like I said, that little bore access is a little bit wider. So I'm just going to take a cleaning cloth, kind of bunch it up, and I'm just going to wipe down the inside. Again, it's very easy. But as from what I can see, our barrel is actually doing pretty well. We're pretty clean. But once that's done, I want to do the same thing to my slide. I want to wipe down all that excess cleaner. So I'm going to go ahead with one of my cleaning swabs, and you can do this with a cloth too. And I'm just going to get all the areas that I can with my fingers, okay, and the cloth. Now, I also have some other cleaning supplies here. What I use are these little Q-tips. Okay, these are gun cleaning Q-tips, but of course you can just go to the store and get regular Q-tips. Those work just fine as well. But anywhere that my fingers couldn't fit, I'm just going to address with this. Okay, those little slide rails. And again, those slide rails are just on the back of the firearm. Okay, there's nothing up towards the muzzle. And of course, we want to get our bolt face. Make sure any kind of discoloration. Again, just look the firearm over. If it's still dirty, you're just going to have to repeat these processes or these steps. But again, it's worth having a clean gun. And as you can see, it's all that junk inside. Now, same thing with the frame. Now there's not really too many wide parts, so I'm just going to use my Q-tip, and I'm going to get down in all the areas that I wiped down. Okay, and again, this just takes your eye. Just look anywhere where there was metal, and anywhere that you put the cleaner. You just want to run over it, make sure that you dry it up. Okay, I also see some debris just on the polymer, so I'm trying to pick that up. But that's pretty much all you need to do. Again, there wasn't that much in there, but it's still, again, an important step to do. But now, your pistol is ready to put back together. And again, it's very simple. Just take your slide, insert your barrel, okay? Of course, it's on that recoil spring, so you just need to pull back on it and let it go forward, okay? Something else to note is that you want to make sure that it goes in straight, okay? You don't want those lugs to be cocked off to the side or anything. Again, it'll probably engage, but just for safety purposes, just go ahead and make sure that it's straight along with the slide. Then, again, you just have to really line up your back rails, okay? Now this block, this barrel lock block right here is going to go just in front of your takedown button or your takedown lever, okay? So basically, just want to set it in there, okay? Just like that. Line it up with your rails, and then just pull back your slide, okay? Now, your gun is clean and ready to go back out to the range.
All right, now we're going to go over some additional details for the FN5.7. Starting up here with the sights. The 5.7 comes with either fixed Trijicon sights or, like this model has, adjustable sights. You've got a 3-dot sight system here, and the rear sight is adjustable for windage and elevation, which is a unique feature on a pistol. The slide itself is made from metal, and it's encased in polymer, which a lot of the components throughout this firearm are either made from polymer or encased in polymer, which makes this weapon so light. The polymer also adds to the durability of the slide and the other components that are covered in the polymer. You can see here that it's a matte black finish, so it reduces any glare that you might have. And up here you've got front slide serrations and rear slide serrations, and also charging grips here on the back of the slide to make racking the slide to the rear even easier. The barrel itself, you could see that with that 5.7x28 round, you're going to be having a smaller diameter barrel than most handgun barrels would be. This barrel is made from cold hammer forged steel and is aligned with chrome on the inside of the barrel to help extend the service life of it. Moving on down into the frame, you've got the polymer frame here, of course, and here's an ambidextrous safety. Now, the interesting thing about this safety is that it's actually forward of the grip rather than reverse or on the grip like a lot of firearms are, where they normally have the safety somewhere around here as a thumb safety. Now, it takes a little bit of getting used to with this safety like that to disengage and engage the safety, and you can actually use it too with your offhand like that instead of your trigger finger. Most people find that it's easier with the trigger finger though. The trigger guard is serrated on the front here and is large enough to accommodate a gloved finger. Now, this probably isn't a firearm that you're going to be carrying for concealed carry, although I'm sure some people do. A lot of times this is going to be used as a service weapon or a home defense weapon, so if it is your service weapon, you can feel comfortable knowing that this firearm has an appropriate size trigger guard to get a gloved finger in there if you're on duty and wearing gloves in the winter. The trigger itself is textured on the front, so you get a good feel there if you're just using your bare finger on the front of the trigger, and it's a pretty crisp, even pull all the way to the rear. It has a clean break, and the reset is both audible and tactile. Now, on this side of the firearm, you can see here you've got your takedown mechanism, which is kind of like a Glock takedown mechanism, except that instead of pulling down, it pulls to the rear, and that's how you take down the firearm, as Chase showed you in the video. Now, here's the other side of that ambidextrous safety, and right here is your slide catch. I would say this is more of a slide catch than a slide catch and release because it's pretty hard to disengage without pulling the slide to the rear if you don't have a fresh magazine in there and you're just trying to send the slide forward. Now, this is the magazine release. It's pretty substantial. It sticks out quite a bit, but that makes it really easy to find with your thumb. And if you're using this as a service weapon, that's what you want. You don't want to have to try and find the magazine release when you need to quickly change magazines. Another cool feature about this magazine release is that it's actually reversible. So if you're right-handed, you can keep it on this side. If you're left-handed, you can change it so you can disengage that magazine release with your left thumb right over here. Now, one thing that I really like about this firearm is the grip texturing throughout the grip. Here, you've got these pyramid grips throughout the handle of the firearm, and they're really aggressive. They kind of bite into your hand, and you get a really good purchase on the firearm. Now, on the front and back straps of the firearm, you've got these horizontal grip texture here, which is, again, it's not overly aggressive, but it's nice to have. Now, the magazine itself is also polymer, adding to the lightweight of the firearm as a whole, and holds 20 rounds of 5.7 by 28. Now, the bottom, the base plate of this magazine is actually contoured. It's not perfectly flat, so that when you're reinserting it, it fits nicely in the palm of your hand. The 5.7 is a really unique firearm, and chambered in that 5.7 by 28 round, which was designed to help reduce over-penetration, especially when in an urban environment. This is why it's used by a lot of police and military forces, especially in Europe where the buildings are a lot closer together, but that also makes it a great round for home defense. So this is a really unique firearm. I'd suggest you check it out, try and take it out to the range and see how you like it. That's all for this cleaning video of the FN-5.7. If you liked it, share it with your friends on social media, and be sure to subscribe to the Urban Carry YouTube channel so you can get more information on gun care, concealed carry best practices, and how to utilize the full line of Urban Carry products. That's it for today, and until next time, keep calm and return fire.